In the heart of ancient Rome, beneath the shadow of marble temples and towering statues of emperors, there was a place where life and death collided in front of tens of thousands of screaming voices. The Colosseum, Rome's grand theater of blood, was not simply a stadium. It was a machine built for power, for spectacle, and for control. And at the heart of this brutal world stood the gladiators, men trained to kill, to die, and to entertain. Their lives were short, their struggles immense, and their legacy echoes even today. This is their story, the life and death of Rome's gladiators. Backstory. Origins. The origins of gladiators are soaked in ritual. Before Rome built arenas of stone, Italic tribes sacrificed warriors at funerals, believing blood honored the dead. These grim beginnings evolved into contests of skill, and as the Republic grew, the games transformed into a political weapon. By the time of Julius Caesar, staging a grand gladiator show could sway an entire election. To the people of Rome, blood in the sand meant more than violence. It was entertainment, religion, and politics combined. Daily life. Gladiators came from many walks of life. Some were slaves, bought and sold like cattle. Others were criminals, condemned to fight as punishment. Yet not all were forced. Some free men, desperate for fame or money, volunteered to risk their lives. Inside the gladiator schools, or ludi, discipline was harsh. They ate a diet of barley and beans to build bulk, trained with heavy wooden swords to strengthen their arms, and they endured endless drills. They were property, but also prized investments. A well-trained gladiator could fight dozens of times, bringing fortune and fame to his lanista, the owner of the school. The arena experience. On the day of the games, the Colosseum transformed into a roaring sea of humanity. 50,000 Romans pressed shoulder to shoulder, their eyes fixed on the arena floor. Exotic animals from Africa and the East were released for the morning hunts. Executions followed at midday, criminals torn apart by beasts or burned alive in macabre displays. But it was the gladiators who commanded the afternoon, when the sun cast long shadows and the sand was ready to drink blood. With trumpets announcing their arrival, men entered the arena with helmets gleaming and weapons drawn, saluting the emperor with the legendary words, Ave Caesar, morituri te salutant. Hail Caesar, we who are about to die salute you. Battles and styles. The fights themselves were not wild brawls, but choreographed clashes of distinct warrior styles. The Murmillo, with heavy shield and gladius, fought like the Roman soldier. The Retiarius, armed with net and trident, danced with speed and cunning, trying to entangle his foe. The Secutor, with smooth helmet and short sword, was designed specifically to chase down the nimble net fighter. Each duel was a spectacle of contrast, strength against agility, armor against speed, brute force against tactical patience. These battles could last minutes or stretch into an hour, the crowd roaring at every strike, every near-fatal blow. Blood was demanded, but skill was celebrated. Fate and mercy. When a gladiator fell, gasping in the dust, the arena held its breath. The decision of life or death often lay in the emperor's hand, though in truth, the crowd's voice carried great power. A gladiator who fought bravely might be spared with a signal of mercy, but one who faltered, who disappointed, might feel the downward turn of a thumb, his end swift and brutal. Yet death was not always the outcome. A successful gladiator could live to fight dozens of times, earning fame, gifts, and even freedom. Some became celebrities, admired by women, written about by poets, and etched into history as heroes of the sand. Politics of blood. The games were never only about entertainment, they were tools of control. Emperors staged massive spectacles to remind the people of their power and generosity. Bread and circuses, the poet Juvenal wrote, keep the masses fed and distracted, and they will not revolt. The Colosseum, with its grandeur and carnage, was propaganda carved into stone. Every fight, every drop of blood reinforced the might of Rome, and for centuries it worked. Decline and legacy. But like Rome itself, the games faded. By the 5th century, as Christianity rose and the empire fractured, gladiators vanished from the sands. The arenas fell silent, their stones crumbling with time. Yet the fascination with gladiators never died. Today, their image fills movies, books, and games. The Colosseum still stands, scarred but unbroken, a reminder of an age when death was a spectacle and survival was a performance. Conclusion: gladiators lived in chains, but in the arena they became legends. They were victims of Rome's cruelty, yet also masters of its stage. Their lives were short, their battles bloody, but their story endures because it tells us something about humanity itself, our hunger for spectacle, our obsession with power, and our endless fascination with life balanced on the edge of death. In the end, the gladiators remind us that history is not written only in marble and scrolls, but also in the blood spilled upon the sand. Gladiators fought for survival. You only need to click, subscribe, like, and share this story so more people can step into Rome's arena of history.